Hello and welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham and I'm your host, and today I have the pleasure of having with me Tracey Langford from 360 Vintage Designs and More in Virginia Beach.
Hello.
Welcome, Tracey.
Thanks for having me, Rory.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's good to have you. Why don't we just start by giving us a overview of what is 360 Vintage Designs and More?
Okay, well, 360 Vintage Designs and More is a vintage shop, and what I sell there is women and men's clothing and accessories, gently used. There are some new items. Vintage, I'd like to say, is about 20 years of age or more. And so there are some antique pieces, if I may, and then there are some modern pieces as well for both men and women.
For men and women, okay. And you have quite a story of how you got involved in this. I know because we were talking beforehand.
Yes. Actually, I was 16 years old. My sisters and I, we had summer jobs, and whenever we'd get our paychecks, we would run off to little antique shops or vintage shops or thrift stores even. And I would always go in and everything would be so beautiful. And I would always say, I'm going to own a shop like this one day. I'm going to own a shop. And the thing about it is everything seems so expensive. But of course things are expensive when you're 16 years old and you're getting a summer job paycheck. And so I just would always say, my things aren't going to be this expensive when I get my store. And so, long story short, here I am with my dream coming true.
And how long have you been in business?
Since 2012.
Since 2012. Okay, and did you just decide to start this business because it's always been a dream, or is,
Well, I'd set some goals,
Okay.
and my goal was 40. Of course, it didn't happen, and then 45, I started putting it down on paper and just seeing what I needed to do. I started doing some homework, some research, and then at age 50, I just believe at 50 I just reinvented myself, and that was the year that I was going to start. And so, long story short, I went out, I looked for a retail space. I saw the retail space. It fit my needs. And
So you just boldly went out there and started something.
I went out on faith. And faith is bold.
That's what I meant.
And so I'm boldly faithful that all things are possible.
Yeah. So you got a role model that you...
And I was going to follow up with that. My mom, she just let me know that all things are possible. You can do all things. Anything you put your mind to can be achieved. And so I'm achieving what I put my mind to.
So who's your target customer?
My target customer is anyone from high school level to senior. High school, there's a lot of proms, there's rain dance, there's just trendy. Our generation, the younger generation today, they wear a lot of denim, and I have a theory that the younger generation likes vintage because it matures them, or they feel mature in the more
everything old is new again.
Yes. And that is what 360 is all about, full circle. And then the older customer, they don't really particularly care for vintage because it dates them. And so that's why I offer the older customer a modern feel. And then there are a lot of roaring 20s parties. There's a lot of 70s parties. People like to dress up and get in full character. And so that's what we offer at 360.
Okay. All right. And obviously you're passionate about what you do. What's your favorite part of the business?
The customer. I'm a people person. I love people. I love talking to people. I love getting to know people. And to have my customer walk away happy is what my goal is. The sale, yes, I want the sale, but I want the happy customer, because if they walk away happy, they're going to go tell a friend, and they're going to bring a friend the next time. So that's what's really, really important to me.
So what else can you tell us about the merchandise? You mentioned the clothes, but you haven't mentioned a whole lot about the furniture side.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. My first location, I'm actually in a new location. I was over on South Witch Duck, in the Kempsville area, which is what they're rebuilding as a historic area. And they did quite a bit of construction over. And so it kind of changed the dynamics of how to get in and out of the store. And then that space was a lot smaller. The space that I'm in now affords me the opportunity to do furniture, just little choice pieces, antique lamps, maybe some nightstands, or just a cute little couch or chair or something. The previous location didn't give me the space to do that. This place will allow me the space.
So what do you see for your future? You've already expanded.
Well, I've already expanded. I see for my future to own a building. There is another piece that I'd like to add to 360, but I'll keep that silent right now.
Okay.
But there is another piece I'd like to add to 360. But what I see for my future is getting more involved in the community. I like to do a lot of community service. I want to work with our youth a little bit more, our teens. I just find that a lot of them, you know, I was a teen, and sometimes we don't know the direction, and so sometimes we need role models, as my mom was for me, to just talk to us, and maybe one thing I could say to a teen, whether it be male or female, may make a difference on their path. So I like to get more involved with our community.
Well, speaking of
and our
that,
teens.
what would you tell someone that's thinking about getting into business?
Faith, just be faithful, just trust in your dreams, do your homework, and just again, like I did, boldly step out on faith. And just believe in what you're doing and have goals, set goals. Like I said, my goal was 40. It didn't happen at 40 because, of course, life happens. And so 45 is when I said, this is what I'm going to do.
You said something else, too, that was important, is you wrote it down.
Yes, write
Writing
it down.
makes a tremendous difference.
Yes,
It
yes.
really does.
And then what happened for me in writing it down, I went back 5 years later to see what I wrote down and to see what changes were made on my journey. And so it makes sense to write it down.
Okay. All right. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you wanted to mention?
Well, no, I think that.
I did a good job.
Well, yeah, you're doing an excellent job. You're doing an excellent job.
Okay. Well, I thank you for
I don't
coming
know, well, there is
Oh.
one thing, Roy. I don't know that I mentioned the new location address. It's 4714 Princess Anne Road in Virginia Beach.
in. Okay. All
Okay?
right. Well, if you could use some vintage clothes or some vintage furniture pieces, you might want to go and check this out. The contact information is at the end of this video and at the bottom of this page. And I'm sure Tracey would be willing to talk to you about anything you're looking for and be willing to help you out. And so go in and check it out. And we're glad to have the shop in Virginia Beach. And I thank you very much for coming in. I wish you a great deal of success.
Well, thank you, Rory. I really appreciate that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.